I don't know how many of you know the story of Albertine. I mean, I know it's a kind of a weird name for an album, and most people would just pick it up and go, that's a weird name for an album, keep walking. But I'm here, you're here, so why don't I tell you a little bit about it. In 2005 I went to Rwanda for the first time, and since I was at high school I've been involved with World Vision, and I'm really passionate. How many people know who World Vision are? They're amazing, and I'm very passionate about what they do. And I've been to Cambodia with them in 2003 and visited one of my sponsored children and seen their work in the field. And then I went on to release my debut album, and then kind of toured and did all that bunyada, and then finished that. And I needed a break, and I kind of basically Rwanda was impressed on my heart, and I had no idea really why or what I would do over there, but I kind of got my vaccinations and booked my flights, and as a 21-year-old girl kind of went into the middle of Central East Africa by myself, and I'd called World Vision ahead of time and said, look, I'm turning up on your doorstep, so maybe you have someone who could show me around a little bit. And they introduced me to a man called Joel in Siyumva, and so basically for the next few weeks that I was there, Joel was my guide, and he took me around kind of through rural areas of Rwanda and in different communities, and I saw the reality of people living with HIV and no clean water and no adequate medical care, and was really ripped to the core, and it became very personal for me, and I knew that I couldn't tuck this in my book of good life experiences and kind of put it in my pocket and keep going. I didn't want to be kind of a voyeur of tragedy, you know. I knew that I had to do something. And the last day that I was in Rwanda, before I went on to Tanzania, Joel took me to a school because he wanted me to. Many of you will know that there was a genocide in Rwanda in 1994, and in a country of 8 million, 1 million people were killed in 100 days. And it was completely and utterly horrific, and nobody was untouched, and including my friend Joel. And I had not asked his story. I kind of was aware that was a no-no, and so I got to know this man pretty well and knew all about his life apart from that gap in 1994. And so Joel took me to a school on this last day because he wanted me to see the children of Rwanda and the hope of this country, you know. And so we kind of exchanged songs and dances, and it was all very cool. And then Joel said, just before we left, he said, this isn't on our schedule, Brooke, but there's an orphan that I would really like you to meet. And I said, of course. And so we walked from the hall where we were across the schoolyard into this classroom, and school was out for the day, and so the classrooms were empty and the kids had left in a hurry, and there were benches kind of strewn about everywhere, and everything was in a bit of a mess. And it was Joel and our translator, and a girl in the school uniform joined us. We walked into this classroom, and I knew that something was about to happen and that I would not walk out of the room the same person. So we sat down, and Joel said to me, Brooke, I very much like to be a humble man because I like to give God the praise. He said, I could not save many lives in the genocide, but I could save one. And he said to me, you must go back to your people, and you must tell them about us here in Rwanda and bring help. And he said, you must write a song, and I will tell you what the name of the song is going to be. And then he pointed toward the girl that walked in with us, and he said, this is Albertine. And Albertine was the girl who, when the genocide began, Joel, who was a Hutu, who were the tribe responsible for initiating the slaughter, he basically laid down his life for this young Tutsi girl, and her whole family were killed, but he made a promise to himself and to God that he would rather die than stand by and watch this little girl be killed. And so I sat there with them these 11 years later, and I understood kind of, maybe for the first time, it sounds very cheesy what I'm about to say, but what love really is. And it's not this Valentine's Day gimmick, you know. It's bloody, and it's raw, and sometimes it will cost us everything. And so I kind of made a decision that I would leave and that I would write that song. But not only that, but that I want to know what it is to live that way for people. So that's what this song is about. But I hope in playing this song to you and sharing this story with you, that the result is not that you go, oh, isn't that so great for her? But that I think that in all of our lives, we have an Albertine and we have a Rwanda and we have an area where perhaps we can really do something and we can really help. So I just really encourage you to think about that, whatever that is, and whether it's like I love World Vision and they're kind of my shtick, you know, and what I love, and I sponsor a number of children, but kind of more than that, maybe you need to call your dad, you know, maybe you kind of don't just walk by the homeless person, but kind of make eye contact and smile and say hi or something. But that's kind of the point, and that's the point of all this music. Is not enough of a reason to do music for me anyway. So this is Albertine. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you to William, and drive safely home.